Hi there, it is your girl Yolanda Neely. Welcome to the Yolanda Neely Show podcast. And I have a very special guest with me. And I saw you actually on a friend's video on Facebook. This is Alexiou Gibson, and he has a company called Seamoss Transformation. And when I saw you on James T, shout out to my boy James T, James Thomas and Hot 105 in Miami, and I was blown away. First of all, I know about Seamoss. And secondly, the things that you were saying about Seamoss, I didn't know that part. So I just want to introduce you to the folks here in the Brunswick, Georgia area and everybody else who's checking out the podcast. Wow. First of all, tell us a little bit about Alexio. Who are you?
All right. Well, thanks for having me on your show.
Absolutely.
I was born and raised in the Bahamas. I was always into gadgets and science and trinkets. So naturally, in my adult years, I followed being an engineer. So I went to school to be an engineer. I landed a NASA internship, built a rover for them, and got my feet in the door. I thought that was everything I wanted. And until my mentor at NASA told me, hey, I think you're going to be doing something bigger than being here. Don't come back. Go explore the world. Yeah, in a very positive way. She just said, you know, the doors are always open, but I feel like there's something greater for you. And around that time, I was looking into entrepreneurship. I was reading a lot of books on it, and I had like an aha moment. He's like, man, I could do so much more, you know, than just being here. So I started to pursue entrepreneurship, and that led me to my Seamoss company today, which is one of my businesses. So now today, I'm just really enthusiastic about sharing my own transformation story and connecting all of us together because we're all trying to get better in some way.
Absolutely. Now, your transformation story is it's an amazing story. And that's what I really want to share with my audience. And I didn't even know all that part about working at NASA and all of that. That's icing on the cake right there for me. But you had a tremendous transformation of weight loss. And tell us a little bit about that.
Okay, yes. So growing up on the islands, I was exposed to very rich eating.
I know. Panamanian girl.
Yeah, so, you know, Sunday dinner was like every day.
Okay.
And so I had actually got over 500 pounds at only 19 years old.
Wow.
And
over 500.
Yeah, 540 pounds to be exact.
My God.
Years old. And you know, I was very active at that size, believe it or not. I was playing football in high school, and you know, my results were always coming back okay. My doctor said, you know, you're not gonna make it to 30 though. You know, you're passing these tests, and your heart looks good now, but you know, in 11 years, I don't think you'll still be here. And you know, it was a really hard punch to hear because he didn't sweeten it up at all, you know, just like boom, you know.
Okay.
And I had a flip once I got into college. I met a mentor. Her name was Miss Olivia, and she just tapped me on my shoulder one day, and she said, you know, I feel like you should be in leadership. I feel like you can be doing something great. Let's get you involved, you know. And literally that belief system was all I needed. That was the missing link. Because I'd grown up in an environment where I'd been told the opposite my whole life. So I believed it, you know, and it wasn't until a breath of fresh air, an outsider came in and just poured all this light into me that I literally flipped everything. I started going to the gym 3 times a day.
Wow.
I would plan it in between my classes on campus because, you know, campuses have gyms. And I remember reading an article on one of those weight loss shows that some of the contestants worked out 6 hours a day. And I thought that was crazy, but at the same time, I'm like, some of those contestants are bigger than I am. And some of them are twice my age. So if they can do it, what's my excuse, you know?
Right.
And at that point. So I said, okay, this is how I'm going to break up 6 hours a day. I'm going to do 2 in the morning before my first class. I'm going to do 2 during lunchtime. And then I'm going to do another hour or 2 at the end of my day. And I broke it up like that. And I was able to drop 200 pounds in like 16 weeks. But this is why the Transformation Factory is so important to me, because transformation really starts from the inside. because even though I was fixing my exterior, there was still so many trauma that I hadn't healed from a child that I was carrying with me in my new body. So what do you think happens if you take your old mindset into a new environment?
Exactly. Same
Muddy
old.
the waters.
Yes.
So I got into entrepreneurship. Now my life has changed. Martin Luther King Leadership Award. I'm working with NASA. I'm getting press, and everything is going good. I'm in entrepreneurship, and now I'm just getting lost again. And within like 9 months, I regained 100 pounds. Just
Wow.
like that, because the root wasn't solved. And so for me, a big part of transformation is mind, body, and soul. So started going to I started reading up on mental health and started addressing things head on, and that was the forever turning point for me. After that point, and really healing from the root, I lost that 100 pounds back that I regained, and I went plant-based about 3 years ago. Dropped an additional 85 pounds, and now I'm at, I went from 450, and right now I'm at 240, and we're wrapping up this year, wrapping up the last weight to like finish off strong. And, we've been filming the process for the last 3 years, so there's footage of me at my heaviest, starting day one in the gym, gasping for breath, just doing basic exercises. And I really wanted that filmed because being that obese and walking into a gym, I used to be so intimidated. I felt like everyone was looking at me like, wow, why are you even here? Or, man, you're so far gone.
Exactly.
I was just like, eyes were all on me. And I wanted to show, potentially the world one day, like, man, it really doesn't matter where you start. Because, look where I am today, but look where we started from. Just start, And so we've been filming it, and the goal is this year to release the documentary and let everybody see everything and build this community where everyone is evolving and we're talking to each other,
Absolutely. And it's so cool that you're talking about these things because, your business, of course, is Seamoss. Yes. Growing up as a Panamanian girl, I knew about isinglass and Seamoss. My grandmother made it for my uncles, and it made them stronger. Their libido was better. Trust me, they had lots of babies. I'm just saying, it kept them really, really strong. Even though they were big men, they were strong men. So, what made you get into the Seamoss product?
Well, just like yourself, I grew up around it. Growing up in the Bahamas, it was always a running joke. You don't take Seamoss if you don't want children.
See?
They would always warn you, because of the libido effects, testosterone boost that men get on it, the estrogen boost that women get on it. It makes women extremely fertile as well. So, it was just always something that we knew was super potent, healing. And so when COVID struck, last April was when it really started to peak. My grandmother was here visiting from the Bahamas, and she's 79. And, if you watch the news, you follow COVID, they tell you that people that are older are easy targets, they become fatal. So, my grandmother's like my everything. So I'm like, Grandma, you got to be sweating Seamoss out of your pores,
Right.
Make sure that you built up strong. So she loves coffee. She doesn't start her morning without it. So what I would do is I would take my Seamoss gel, like raw unflavored one. Take a spoon of it, and I would put it in her milk. I'll warm it, and I'd make a latte out of it, and I'll give it to her every morning. My grandmother was having thyroid issues as well. Seamoss has a ton of iodine in it that corrects thyroid. So she started, not only did her immune system boost greatly, her memory improved, her hair that used to be thinning because of the thyroid issues started growing back very thick, and what I would do is I would share this on my Instagram stories, me making the lattes, I even made chocolate cake with Seamoss in it,
Wow.
So I'm showing like my friends and my followers, what we're doing to stay healthy during the lockdown. And that's when it happened. I started getting messages from friends who are in healthcare they're like, man, we're around COVID patients all day long. Can we get some of that? And some of them are local in Florida, so not even thinking about this being a business. I'm like, hey, come over. I got a ton. Come over, grab a bottle. And one nurse in particular, she's like, man, I need more. I'm like, I just gave you a month's supply. How are you out? Like, my brother found it. He ate it before the gym and made him so strong and all this stuff, and now he won't give it back. So now the family's stealing it from her, and like, wow.
Oh my gosh.
Stealing the health items, So I started getting an influx of orders, and I was overwhelmed by it. So I said, let me open up a website so people can put in their own information. I just have to print the label. I don't have to do anything else. And by putting it online, they started reviewing it, and the world started seeing my Seamoss, not just my friends, which I didn't know. Like, you start Googling Seamoss gel and my products on the front pages. And then I started getting orders from Germany and Toronto and Switzerland.
Oh my gosh.
What is going on, And I'm like telling my mom, and she's like, you don't know it, but this is going to be a big business one day. And at the time, I'm still like, we're just getting people healthy, I'm not thinking too much. That was 6 months ago. We have served close to 50,000 people in 6 months.
Oh my gosh.
It literally took a life of its own. And the most beautiful thing about it is the messages we get. People who are dealing with chronic issues that didn't have a pain-free week until they found our product. And now they're saying how they can do all these things and they're happier and they're in less pain. And it's like, wow, we're really making a huge difference here, So that's how it started. And now we're just growing. We're expanding into a new location now because we've outgrown our space. We have organizations that want to work with us to get their kids healthy, and it's just kind of snowballing into a life of its own,
Wow. Alexio, when I saw you with James T that day, I'm telling you, I was like, I got to have this guy on my podcast, because especially now, and especially as Black Americans or Black people, we are dying. Black and brown people, Hispanic, I happen to be both. Yeah. We're dying. You know what I'm saying? We're dying because of this COVID. And now there's another strain that's even stronger. And people are looking for Seamoss. I mean, and everybody they're talking about Seamoss. They're talking about elderberries. We're definitely have to, really build ourselves up, because we don't know. We don't know what this thing can do or how long this thing is going to last. And, accidentally don't wear a mask one day, or you happen to go somewhere. So I'm sure people have been trying to get with you on this, So, I mean, where do you see this going at this point?
Well, right now, we're getting a new location. The idea is to definitely expand in different parts of the country, or even in different countries, to make it more accessible. But the bigger picture here is, we've been documenting my transformation, and the whole point of SeamossTransformation.com, the Transformation Factory, is to create a hub where people can not only see visuals of what to do to improve their own lives, but they also have a catalog, a menu of super potent healthy items to get them started on their journey. So, what I would like for this to bleed into the homes of anyone that needs the help, the motivation, mental health, physical health, whatever, and use my story, your story, everyone's story that we connect in our new community. Stories sell. Someone might not relate to my story and say, he's a guy, he lost 300 pounds,
Right.
They might relate to the single mom who did the same thing with a full-time job.
Absolutely.
And taking care of her babies. Like, that might fire up someone else.
Exactly.
So the goal is to bring us all together. Let's all share what we did to make it work. And someone's going to identify within someone, and it's going to change their life, because now it's believable. They feel it.
Right. I saw an interview you did with Les Brown, and that was amazing right there. So you got people like Les Brown that wants to follow you and be a part of this connection. I'm definitely in. I mean, without a doubt, I want my orders. I'm getting ready to order my Seamoss, because I mean, it's inspiring, and I'm trying to lose the weight as well. So, connecting to somebody like you, it just makes it all the better for me. You know what I'm saying? The enthusiasm. And when I will never forget, I'm looking at this interview with James C. and you're like, and I lost over 200 and something pounds, close to 300. I'm like, what? How did he do that? You know, and I'm looking at this guy and I'm like, he was not no 540 pounds. Him lying.
Man, I could show you some pictures that'll have your mouth open, you know?
Wow.
Those pictures and they just can't believe I was ever that person.
Wow.
I look at those pictures too, and it's like sometimes like I can't even recognize that person, you know?
You know what I love? You did it naturally. You didn't do surgery. You didn't do all of that. You went to the gym, you went plant-based, you know, you taking your Seamoss is helping you, you building up your system. And that's the way I want to do it. I don't want anybody cutting on me. I don't want to do all of that. I just want to do it naturally, my way.
Yeah, and what I would say about that too, because obviously every option under the sun was presented to me. I tried Atkins, then they tried to give me medication that would cut the fat that you eat. And when I tell you at that age, every pediatrician, every doctor tried everything, offered all kinds of different operations. But what it really comes down to, whatever decision you choose, it really starts, it starts with the mindset, because even taking a route to get an operation, 80% of those patients regain their weight. So it's not that you're overeating while you're big. It's a habit. It's a habit that needs to be broken. And it starts from healing internally, because people that get that surgery and they look like fitness experts because they really dedicated and changed their life. And then there's others who will, lose some weight and then regain it because, again, just like I did, I regained 100 pounds because my mindset didn't change. My habits didn't change, I was purposely disciplined for a short term, but long term I fell right back into habit. So, whichever option anyone chooses, at the end of the day, is like, this just has to
We're creatures of habit, and once we start something, if we get knocked off routine, like COVID messed a lot of people up because you're home. And I'm telling you, I haven't had a physical job in a year, but I had to find something else to do. And thank God birthed the podcast and some other things that I'm working on, because I was sitting at home and I was looking at all those commercials. And let me tell you, every fast food and pizzas and stuff. And I'm like, I cannot believe, because I was never that homebody person to sit here and watch television all day. And you can't help it. I mean, really, if people don't have anything to do and they don't have anybody to talk to, or they're just stuck in this little bubble of their own, I mean, wow, you have to make some really, really strong decisions, about what you're going to do. I mean, I have to just get up, and it's cold, but you know what? I'm starting to put my hats and my glove, and come on, let's walk the dog. Let's do something. Let's get out the house. Let's go bike riding. But it's cold here. You're lucky you're in South Florida. You don't have that.
Yeah, I know. But what I would say too is it really starts in our kitchen. Especially as Black and brown people, we have to look back at science, and our ancestors were on land close to the equator. We're in African countries where we had mangoes and avocados and bananas year round. So once we came to the Westland, we adopted the Western diet, which our ancestors didn't partake in that much animal meat and dairy. So it's no secret that Black and brown people specifically are affected the worst. These chemicals and these harsh agents that's in the food, it binds to our melanin, and that's why it affects us more than any other race. You think about it, African Americans make up 11% of the United States population, but we make up almost 50% of the heart disease. Heart disease is the number one cause of death in the country. So how are we leading the number one cause of death, having such a small percentage of people here? It's affecting us exponentially more, So even, we really just have to eliminate as much processed foods and carcinogenic foods like the red meat and all these meats that's coming from weird places, that's giving us our diabetes and our cancers and all these really avoidable and reversible things.
Right. Let me
And
ask you something, because a lot of the news always say, well, disproportionately black and brown people can't afford to eat like other people, like, like, our white race or whatever. But you look at the Chinese, you look at Asian people, and they're small. They don't have all those diseases either. So, okay, so what are we doing here? We have to really sit back and kind of rethink how we shop. And I mean, really, and and again, that's got to be a decision from within, and so you just eat strictly plant-based, no fish, no
fish, no dairy, nothing. I do a lot of rice, beans, mushrooms, sweet potatoes, avocados, quinoa, chia seeds. It's so many delicious recipes. And a part of the Transformation Factory, we will be releasing a series of recipe videos too, because when I went plant-based, I was always a foodie, so I had to enjoy my food if I was going to stick. And I still wanted to have my curries and all these different spices I'm used to on the island. So now I make curry chickpeas and coconut milk, with onions and potatoes, and set over some rice and peas or a quinoa, and some guacamole on the side, and you don't feel like you're missing anything in your culture, like you still it still looks like grandma's plate minus the steak or whatever, and I have the spices. So I think it starts there, and you make a good point. It starts from within, and people just need a why. They need like that jump start to fire them up. That tap on the shoulder that I got that said, "Hey, you could be a leader," and she just fired me up.
Right.
I think that's what's beautiful about a community, is that I can touch Yolanda and fire her up, and by using my story and telling you what I did, and then you're gonna go touch somebody's shoulder and fire them up. They're like, "Man, you have your own podcast, you still found time to do all this." You're like, "Man, I could do this." And then that person's gonna touch someone, and now look, we have a whole community out here just glowing.
Exactly. And that's what's exciting to me. This is what's very exciting to me, because you have touched me. Again, the moment I saw you, and I was blown away. I said, "Oh, I have to have him on my show. I got to get the word out. I want to work with this guy, because I'm ordering my stuff." You have different flavors of the Seamoss. How do you go about doing that, and what's the best one?
Okay, yes. Well, I actually brought some just
Okay.
We talked about elderberry. This is probably our most potent one. It's still frozen.
Okay.
We send it very fresh. People get it cold. But this is the elderberry Seamoss. We have this one. This is the child's favorite. It's banana strawberry.
Okay.
It's almost like a yogurt consistency.
Okay.
Take it right out of the jar. Delicious. We have the mango.
Oh, yes.
Oh, wow, that's really good. I want to eat some more of that.
Yes.
And strawberry.
Okay.
And then we have the raw. So I'll tell you the differences. Raw is the most versatile. It's not the most potent, but it's most versatile because you can use this as a face mask. You can put this in your body wash. You can water your plants with Seamoss water. It makes them grow faster.
Okay.
And then you can cook with this. So like when I make my curry chickpeas, normally you would put potatoes or flour to thicken the broth. Seamoss does the same thing. It thickens things. So I'll put that in the gravy. And now I'm getting 92 minerals in my meal. Now the good thing about the flavored ones, you get the vitamins from the fruit, and you get the 92 minerals from the Seamoss. So depending on which blend you get, it's extremely potent. Like pineapple, for example. Pineapple is an anti-inflammatory.
Right.
Seamoss. So together, it's like whatever you're dealing with, you feel better.
I can imagine. Okay. Yeah. Wow.
Elderberry is probably the most potent one. Elderberry says it all. It's a super berry. You add all the super antioxidants with the 92 minerals. This is normally what people order if they have COVID or they have really bad inflammation or they have the flu. Like elderberry will break up that mucus. Wow. So those are the differences. My personal favorite taste-wise is the strawberry banana. Like
Kid
myself.
You big kid. Okay.
That one's delicious. All of them you can eat out of the jar. And the raw, you can just, like I said, you can put that in anything. Coffee,
Okay.
it has no taste, so it just stays neutral.
So if I drink a cup of tea in the morning, you know, I drop some Seamoss in there, and I wouldn't even taste it.
You won't even taste it. And like what I like to do, I drink mint tea. So I'll take like a spoon of the mango and I'll put it in the mint tea, and now it's like mango mint. And you don't even know what's in there. It's delicious.
Okay, I'm gonna be. Well, I'm gonna get that.
Yes. You can get a nice kit.
Yes, I have to, because I mean, this is very important to me. And, you know, this year, you know, I've been on this health kick, and I've been doing it because, again, I want to live. You know, I want that. It basically, it comes down to it. It's not about being rich and being famous. It's about living a quality life. Absolutely. And whatever we can do to help ourselves do so, we should do it. And, let's get your information out there, because I need people to contact you.
Yeah. All right. Well, our website is seamosstransformation.com. And you can follow me on Instagram at Alexio 2.0. That's ALEXIOU 2.0. There I post workouts. There I show behind the scenes of everything. And very soon we'll be releasing the full documentary. So anyone that's following will definitely see that as well.
Oh, wow. Man, I wish you the absolute best. And, you know, we're gonna have you come back. We're gonna have to have you come back, because I'm gonna get on it and I'm gonna share with you my progress and things that I'm doing. So hey, we're definitely gonna have you come back, because if anybody I have been more inspired by is you, a young man too. I like this young man. I said, look at this. You were born to be a leader. You really were. And this is, you know, from going to NASA to doing something like this, you know, that is nothing but God right there. So hey, congratulations. Okay, and just the rave reviews about how people are talking about you. So I wish you the best. We'll definitely be in touch. But wow, I can't wait.
What I want to do is I want to send you a kit. We can do a follow up once you've had it and like incorporate it in your life.
Yes.
Take a shot together in the next video.
Okay, that'll work, because I want people to see me use the product. I want them to see me, and I want them to see the results and the things that I'm doing, because again, this is serious. This is my health, and you know, I see people younger than me. They're leaving us, and because they have all these little underlying situations. But you know, we're gonna make this happen. We're gonna make this happen for sure. I can't believe my phone is ringing.
This is a pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
Okay, absolutely. Alexiou Gibson, check out his website, transformation.com, right? Seamoss.transformation.com. Looking forward to it. And actually is in the transformationfactory.com. We got to get all that in there.
Well, yeah, they both link to the same website. So you
can good.
Transformationfactory.com or Seamoss Transformation.
Awesome.
Yes,
awesome.
And, so I look forward to reconnecting.
Absolutely. Alexio Gibson, like him on Facebook. And of course, thank you for being on the Yolanda Neely Show.
All right. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.